natural flows within 6.5 stream miles of Prairie Creek, which serves as habitat for 2 state-listed native freshwater mussels. He partnered with Texas Parks and Wildlife in the Managed Lands Deer Permit Program to improve the white-tailed deer population. Mr. Roach gave authorization to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and Texas Parks and Wildlife Division to conduct a bioassessment of the aquatic resources on his property. With technical assistance from these agencies, he took the initiative to maintain and improve several wetland areas and lakes on Couch Mountain. His stewardship provides benefit not only to game species, but to numerous non-game species as well. Please help me congratulate the recipient of this year's Private Lands Fish and Wildlife Stewardship Program, Nelson Roach.
I want to say thank you very much. I am humbled and honored to receive this award. But I think more important than receiving the accolades of this award, what I would like to do is I'd like to make this a teachable moment for all of us, if I can. I believe that this award is as deserving of the 2 biologists I worked with, Steve Airy with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and Laura Spate with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Service, because they were absolutely instrumental in transforming me. This award represents a transformation of me as a landowner, and that transformation occurred because I had the distinct advantage of having 2 individuals working with together and in concert with U.S. Fish and Wildlife and with Texas Parks and Wildlife to educate me so that I could learn and felt like I did learn Aldo Leopold's concept of environmentalism. When I first purchased Couch Mountain, I was just looking for a place to hunt deer, and in working first with Laura and then with Steve, I gradually came to appreciate the balance of nature. And so therefore my priorities changed and I became much more interested in preserving the ecosystem. And I could not have done that without their teaching. And so what this is I know that I'm sure that some of you out there, when you're working, you're doing your job, and you're trying to get whatever statistic is, you're trying to get to get through the next year in your career, wonder whether or not you actually can make a difference. And what I would tell you is what Steve and what Laura have done in educating me made a difference because they gradually taught me what I needed to do to my property in order to advance the ecosystem. And so there are 2 things I think that they did that I would urge all of you to do as a biologist. Is number 1, you need to be a salesman. And by being a salesman, what I mean is a good salesman is never discouraged by no. So just because you work with a landowner and one landowner tells you no, I would encourage you not to be discouraged and to go to the next landowner with the same enthusiasm you did to the first landowner, to try to educate them and encourage them on what they can do to preserve their ecosystem on their property. And then the second thing I would encourage you to do is I would encourage you to be educators. It is vitally important that you educate your landowners. And I cannot tell you how much information you know as a biologist, a wildlife biologist, about our ecosystem. And I cannot tell you how little and how ignorant someone like me is who's a landowner who just bought his property to go hunt deer. And if you will do like Steve and Laura did and educate your landowners and teach them the concept of environmentalism, they will learn to have more appreciation for their environment. For me, for example, you know, I no longer, hunting deer is no longer the objective of owning my property. I'm more interested in seeing how many apex predators I have on my property. And I've got bald eagles, I've got red-tailed hawks, I've got specialized mammals and birds like river otters, and I have specialized birds like woodpeckers. And one of the things I learned from Steve and Laura is there's a lot of life in a dead tree. And so one of the things that I learned is that when I had stags that died, if those trees didn't have, pine beetles or something like that on it, I needed to leave those and let them be dead, because the bugs that are in that tree will provide food to the woodpeckers. And you can teach your landowners the same concepts. And if you do, you will help make the world a better place. And finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Misty, because she shares the same enthusiasm that I have in terms of preserving the environment on this little piece of property we're very fortunate to own. Thank you very much.